The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Clark Cowlitz Fire Rescue, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 34622. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on an orientation of your new apparatus. Starting on the passenger and driver side face of the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns. Moving to the center, electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving up onto the bumper extension on the passenger side is where you'll find the fire bell. As we move to the center, a D handle will gain you access into the front hose storage location. Moving to the driver's side, on the top you'll find your mechanical siren. As we move to the cab, on the outer edge you'll find a turn indicator and marker light. Just inside of that location you'll find the headlight bezel housing a low and high beam headlight. Moving up from that location, you'll find 2 forward-facing emergency warning lights. As we move to the Pierce logo in the center, directly behind that is where you'll find the release mechanism to gain access into the hood. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find a mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. As we move to the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. Up onto the brow of the apparatus, you'll find your clearance lights and also forward-facing and slightly angled floodlights. Located over the driver's seat, you'll find your opticom, and on the outer edge of the roof, you'll find 2 emergency warning lights. Moving up to the top of the aerial device, you'll find 2 forward-facing directional floodlights. Let's take a look at some close-ups. First, on the side, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. As we look inside the hose storage area, you'll find a swivel 1.5-inch discharge. Let's go ahead and move now. General view of the entire apparatus from the driver's side. Let's focus in on the cab section next. We'll start first at the front bumper extension where you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving into the step wheel area is where you'll find the air inlet. Moving to the wheel, you'll find Alcoa wheels and also a sight gauge located in the center of the axle. Easily accessible with a gloved hand, these are the door latches. They are keyed. Right next to those door latches where you'll find the grab handle for gaining access in and out of the cab for personnel. Directly over the front axle is where you'll find an auto eject shoreline inlet, also a side-facing emergency warning light. Directly over that location is where you'll find a side-facing scene floodlight for the cab area. And as we move all the way to the rear section of the cab, you'll find a long-handled tool storage or backboard storage location between the cab and the body. Here's a close-up of that shoreline inlet. And then here's your Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel. Let's move to the body now, where you'll find in front of the rear axle, mounted just under the compartment, 2 folding wheel chocks. As we move to the rear axle, just behind that compartment, you'll find the stabilizer pads. Also, you'll find emergency warning lights, lower zone. As we move to the very rear section, you'll find an upper zone rear emergency warning light. As we move just over the stabilizers, you'll find 2 cameras locating stabilizer position, and then you'll also find 2 side-facing LED floodlights. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus where you'll find a turn marker light. Also just inside of that location is the bezel that houses a emergency light, brake, turn, and reverse light. Moving up to the top, we identified earlier emergency warning lights. Just inside of that location is where you'll find 2 rear-facing work lights. Directly in the center of the rear section is where you'll find the traffic advisor, and then directly in the center of the traffic advisor is where you'll find your backup camera. Let's move around now to the passenger side, full view. Looks like we've got a little bit of snow here in Appleton. As we move now to the rear section itself, same configuration and layout as we have on the driver's side, as we have in the front section of the cab area. Let's go ahead and move now to the driver's side. We'll go inside the cab area, identify things within this area. First, starting with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, you'll find all of our safety and warning placards, door lock and latch, electric windows, and a grab handle. At the step well, you'll find the air inlet chuck. Let's move inside the cab area. At the floor level, you'll find a foot pedal. This will control the mechanical siren. Moving up, master battery switch at the very top section. And then as we move just down slightly to the right at the ankle level is where you'll find this yellow placard indicating the type of vehicle, date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, VIN number, fluid capacities for each component, and also fluid capacity type. Let's move back down to the floorboard, different angle. This is the mechanical siren foot pedal. Let's move up to about the left knee of the operator, where we'll find the tech module plug-in location, also transmission, engine, ABS diagnostic port, and then ABS diagnostics, engine diagnostics, regen inhibit switch, and also DPF regen switch. Moving up to the dash area, on the left-hand side of the dash is where you'll find your four-way flasher or hazard lights, start and ignition switch. Just inside of that location, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights along with your headlight and panel switch. To the right, OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. On the gauges, we have transmission, oil, def level, and water temp. On the right side, we have volts, fuel, front and rear air. In the center, we have a tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information displays above and below the speedometer. Let's move just to the right of this space where you'll find your yellow diamond. This is the pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Just to the right, you'll find the Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual. To the right of that, Allison transmission pad with a note pump in drive. Close-up of the command zone. Let's move to the right to a set of switches. On the top section, aerial master, aerial PTO, camera stabilizers, also siren brake, air horn, and load manager. Moving down, we'll find an engine brake on and off switch, a settings for that engine brake for low, medium, and high, front wheel lock, and then also mirror heat. Let's move further to the right in the same vicinity where you'll find your pump shift. We have instructions here from road to pump and then also from pump to road. The yellow collar will lift, allowing you to slide the lever downward. To engage the pump, you need 2 green indicators, pump engaged, and OK to pump prior to exiting the cab for pump operations. We also have some additional warning placards down at the very bottom section to disengage the retarder when the vehicle is on wet or slippery surfaces. Mirror controls for the left and right mirror. Climate control, heat, air conditioning, and also defrost. As we look overhead, you'll find a yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, length of the vehicle, and gross vehicle weight rating. Moving further to the right, emergency switching for emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning. The lower section has lower rear warning lights, upper rear warning lights, and high beam flash. Moving further to the right, we'll find an additional module. This is for your traffic advisor. And then moving further to the right in the same vicinity again, this is your electronic siren and PA speaker system. Directly in the center overhead, you'll find a red flashing light indicating you have a compartment open. Do not move your apparatus if this light is flashing. Behind the driver's seat, you'll find shoreline power. When that is plugged in to the outside, that plug will become energized, allowing you the battery charger to engage your batteries for battery charging. Let's move now to the rear section of the cab. Once again, affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placards, door lock and latch, and also window control and a grab handle. As we move inside the cab, you'll find EMS compartments, adjustable shelving, and LED lighting in roll-up compartment doors. There are also additional roll-up compartments on each side and also 2 forward-facing seats. Each of those seats do house SCBA brackets. Let's go ahead and move now exterior. We'll start with the pump panel. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll find the crosslays in the upper left behind the netting, crosslay 1, 2, and also a 2.5-inch crosslay. All three of these are foam capable. At the very top section, you'll find your minimum operation maintenance schedule. Just beneath that, you'll find a warning: only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. To the right in the red module, you're going to find your Husky 3 foam system module, instructions for that foam system, and then also a foam level indicator. Moving to the right in the gray module, you'll find your master intake gauge and then also master discharge gauge. There are two test gauge ports between the two of those. They are currently plugged, and those are for testing purposes. As we move further down, you'll find the clustered of valves. First, we have our crosslays for crosslay 1 and 2, 2.5-inch, and also front discharge. Also, we have the 2.5-inch discharge for the passenger side and driver's side. All of these are color-coded and labeled. Once again, back to the minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left-hand side is the associated GPM at test pressure. On the right-hand side, the associated RPM at test pressure. Let's continue with the pump panel area. Let's start back up in the top section. This is your Pierce pressure throttle governor, and just to the right of that, you'll find an audible alarm. The outer edge of that audible alarm does allow you to rotate, allowing you to brighten or dampen the sound. To the right, you'll find an indicator OK to pump. It is green. As we move down, you'll find your aerial discharge. It is a wheel valve. As we move just to the right of that location, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line. Moving down further to the right, you'll find your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. And then also, as we move downward, you'll find your tank to pump. Moving all the way down to the very far or bottom side, you'll find your large diameter passenger side discharge. It is the green discharge. The blue module is your water level indicator in your water tank. And then to the right, you'll find your fire pump primer. It is a push to prime air prime. Therefore, there are instructions just beneath this for best practices, 1000 RPMs when engaging the primer. We also have a warning regarding do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. This is the lever controlling the draft or tank position for your foam system, and then also a Watrous placard indicating the GPM and type of pump that you have. Just beneath that, regarding a danger placard, the vehicle ladder is not insulated. To the right, a minimum operation maintenance schedule, and then further to the right, we have the 2.5-inch discharge, and then also a warning regarding caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Down to the left, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains, and then also you'll find your driver's side auxiliary inlet. Let's go back to that red Watrous placard. You have a 2000 GPM pump. Moving on with the continuance of the pump panel area, this is your large diameter pump inlet. As we move further to the right, you'll find a pan door, and at the very bottom section, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. To the right, you'll find your main pump drain, and then just down at the very bottom right, you'll find your manual pump shift override. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. Lift and turn latch gains you access. This is the location for your foam drain. Also, you'll find in a lifted behind the pan door, you'll find the foam for horizontal position, its operation, and when it's vertical, it is fill position. Two drains here for your foam system. As we move now, just a general view here of the cab and also the inside of that long compartment door. We do have also a pull-out step down at the very bottom section that folds outward to increase the size of that step. As we move just over the stabilizers, you'll find an additional storage compartment. Because those stabilizers do move, there is the possibility of a crush hazard, and that's why we have a warning placard located on each stabilizer. As we go through the compartments, you'll find dry deck material, adjustable shelving, LED lighting, and also pull-out trays. The release mechanism for those trays is located on the right side. Tool board located, D-handle gains you access. It will lock into position. There is a release mechanism on the back side of the tool board to restore to its original position. As we move inside the compartment, you'll find a Shoreline outlet 20 amp, and then you'll also find the pan door at the bottom is the blue 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. It's the blue cap. As we move further to the rear, we'll find the silver cap, which is your ultra low sulfur diesel, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Goodyear tires, once again, Alcoa wheels. This is the location in between the two axles for SCBA bottle storage location. As we move further back, we've now revealed the silver ultra low sulfur diesel. We do have a warning placard regarding caution on the diesel fill location, and then also SCBA bottle storage location. As we move to the rear compartment, once again, a tray located in the lower section, and then slightly above that, an additional tray. Those both do pull out, releases on the right, and also a adjustable shelf. Once again, LED lighting inside. To the very rear section, you have a drop-down ladder, and also in the middle there, you'll find a front to rear inclinometer. All compartments are open now. Let's go ahead and move now to the rear of the apparatus. We've got the rear compartment closed, but let's go ahead and expose that with the door open now, where you'll find your ladder storage location, and then we'll go through the components within the rear section of the apparatus. Let's first start with the danger. Electrocution hazard. Equipment is not insulated. Starting down from that location, you'll find your stabilizer controls. This is for the left side or driver's side of the vehicle. You'll also find a pressure for the aerial inlet gauge. And then to the right, inclinometer again. This is for left to right, green, yellow, and red indicators. We also have a aerial inlet, and right next to that aerial inlet is the pressure hazard warning, caution, or warning I should say. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Here's a close-up here of the high idle switch and emergency hydraulic power, front stabilizer, and rear stabilizer. Additional warning here regarding aerial stability if you choose to not set up or short jack the vehicle. In the very center is our ladder storage. On the left-hand side, you'll find additional information on which ladders are stored on the left-hand side, and then also which stored on the right-hand side for those individual ladder components. As we move just underneath this location, you'll find an additional door. This is your aerial master power and also override for your stabilizers. You'll find a red, which is the hydraulic override, and then also a diverter for that control valve also. As we look down to the very bottom section, you'll find all of the information regarding each of those. For example, the red aerial hydraulic power override and the stabilizer hydraulic power override all have descriptors for them. As we move through the compartments now, on the far right, you'll find a hose chute, and then also you'll find front and rear stabilizers. We do have some additional warning placards regarding fall. Never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion, and also when climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. As we move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle, additional crush injury stabilizer information regarding warning because of those devices moving in and out. There's the possibility of crush. As we move forward to this location, you'll find SCBA bottle storage for a single bottle just to the rear of the axle, and then also 2 in between the 2 axles and 1 in the front section. Once again, I'd like to point out this warning placard regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Please be cautious where you park your vehicle. Also inside this compartment, you'll find a direct battery 12-volt DC access location, demonstrating the shelf in the full outright position. And then also just above the stabilizer, you'll find additional storage and also that side-facing camera for stabilizer placement. As we move now to the pump panel on the passenger side, let's start at the very top section. This is a cross-lay compartment. Access into the panel or behind the panel area. Then as we move forward to that location, you'll find the 2.5-inch cross-lay, number 2 cross-lay, and number 1 cross-lay. All 3 of those are foam capable. As we move further down on the panel, you'll find a warning regarding pressure hazard. Once again, caps may be under pressure. As we move to the Pierce logo American flag eagle, this is your large diameter passenger side inlet. And then as we move to the right, this is the green large diameter passenger side discharge. In the front section, the orange number 2 passenger side discharge, 2.5-inch. As we move to the very bottom, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. And then once again, moving further down, you'll find a step for gaining access onto the platformed area. Let's go ahead and move forward. In between the body and the cab, you'll find that additional storage location. We're now inside the cab area on the passenger side rear. You'll find, once again, EMS compartments. Also, you'll find adjustable shelving and LED lighting. Inside those compartments, you'll also find direct battery, 12-volt access. Overhead, you'll find push on and off white or red lens lights, and then also your air conditioning system. Let's move to the front section of the vehicle, where you'll find a fixed-to-door panel, safety and warning placard information, once again, door lock and latch, grab handle. You'll also find the red at the location of the hinge for grab handle for gaining access in the vehicle also. As we move in, your vehicle is equipped with 2 foot pedals down in the lower section. One will control the air horn and the other controls the mechanical siren. This vehicle also is equipped with frontal impact supplemental restraint system. Please do not mount anything within this area. To the right, you'll find the bell rope, and then as we move toward the center section, you'll find 12-volt access via barrel style and USB. Same thing in configuration, push on and off white or red lenses. In the center section, you're going to find a siren brake panel. Additional switches can be added if are necessary. Also, a digital readout regarding your speedometer. General view here of the vehicle with all compartments open now on the passenger side. Let's move up to the aerial device, specifically targeting some of the components within this area. First, ladder belt storage location. As we move to the pedestal itself, we have additional storage location on the step area. Let's go ahead and move now over to the pedestal area where you would control the ladder device. We do have a safety foot switch. You can see the lower portion in orange. That is to engage controls. We also have some warning regarding fall restraint required and also pinch and crush hazard. As we move to the pedestal itself and we move to the very front section, you'll find your intercom system. It is a push-to-talk volume control. As we move to the device over the covered area, you'll find high idle, lights, and also emergency override, nozzle deployment, stream control, and also ladder controls for extend, retract, right, left, and lower raise. As we move to the cover itself, we have additional danger and warning placards. What I would like to point is on the top section of the lid area, we do have additional information regarding your specifications for your particular ladder and 1911 testing. Also, we have for your 105-foot steel aerial ladder load chart, waterway dry, 50-mile-an-hour wind condition, waterway charged, 50-mile-an-hour wind condition, and nozzle reaction positions. You'll also notice in the very bottom section we do have an asterisk section regarding icy or freezing conditions. As we move to the ladder itself, you'll find an inclinometer. This is your climbing angle. And as we move to the ladder itself, you'll see that this is a 4-section ladder. There are incremental red indicators indicating the height of the ladder extension. We do have a minimum 75-pound load within each of the compartments. As we move to the ladder itself, you'll find it's a 4-section 105 aerial, a 16-foot roof on the opposite side. We do have a warning regarding slip hazard. This is for the front section of the cab. This is a non-walking surface. As we move to the ladder itself, you have the ability to have the nozzle located at the tip, or you have the nozzle retracted slightly back on the fly section. As we move to the right, you'll find stream control, fog or straight stream, right and left, and raise and lower. Moving to the side area, you'll find your intercom. It is passive. There is a volume control. Now with the aerial out of its bed, you'll find water tank fill top location located in the center, and then also you'll find in the front section your foam fill location top section. I would like to point out at the very front section of this in the dunnage area is your hydraulic reservoir, and then also an informational note regarding do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam on your foam fill area. This is going to be your hydraulic reservoir fill location, and then just a couple aerial views here of your crosslays. And these are the warning placards that this is a slippery surface and a non-walking surface. Here's a video of your vehicle with your emergency lights on. We've got some snow coming down once again. Congratulations, Clark Cowlitz Fire Rescue Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.